This is an easy explanation of the Roaring Temple in Thrones and Liberty. For a lot of us, it's pretty easy. For some of us, it's way more complicated than it has to be. So I'll describe the first mechs that you need to know, the second, and then the third. That's all there is. There's three. There's three mechanics that we really need to pay attention to. And your goal here is, as a tank, be aware, and as a healer, stay alive. For the love of God, please stay alive. Okay? Simple. And then DPS, just hit stuff. Anyway, here we go. So the first mechanic that we're going to want to look out for is something I like to call the pounce attack. It's a pounce attack, and it's also going to be a spitting venom attack at the same time, because he does it shortly after the spitting venom. So, a chimera, which, if you don't know, is a lion with a snake's tail. The snake's tail is highlighted green here. So, the first thing we want to look for is as soon as you start that instance, essentially, we're going to all come in real close, attack, yada yada yada. Do as much damage as you can to tank a spank at that point. Afterwards, actually, let me explain this as well. This gray line that I put here, that means don't stand it. He's facing to the right over here by these two guys right here. And I'll explain what these are in a second as they pop up. Don't stand behind him. Don't stand where the tail is. He will tail swipe. To be honest, I haven't had an issue with it, but I've usually been tank, so it doesn't do too much damage to me. I've seen a DPS get thwacked for 4K. Just don't stand behind him. That's all. Go to the side. You can actually even stay on his hind legs near his butt cheek. You just don't go directly behind him. Alright, first mech. We're going to talk about the toxic spit first, and then I'll talk about the pounce and why it should be onto the tank. So this guy, this angry little dude right here, with a lot of mommy problems. Here's the snake guy. He's going to get angry. He's going to levitate over the shoulder of the lion. And then he's going to look up and he's going to spit. And this is what that's going to look like here. He's going to spit. We're going to make this a little lighter. There you go. Okay? He's going to spit big circles, or green poo, if you'd like to call it, randomly. One seems like it targets, but I don't think it does at all, actually. So one here. Say one here. And for this sake, we'll say one right on top of this guy. And I'll move him in a second. Your job, as the person fighting, right now, the only thing you need to worry about on the first one is getting out of this. You don't want to see how he's obscured right here? That means you're taking a crap ton of damage, and you should leave. It doesn't feel good. When something spits out of another thing that you know naturally we don't like, snakes, and then when it hits the ground and is sizzling, get out of it, please. Now that you're out of it, you're good. You should be taking a little damage, but eventually you'll be alright. Especially if you still have your major healer over here, which again, stay alive. It's your only job. So, second mechanic, and it's part of the first one still. He's going to spit, and he's going to do it 3 times. So there's going to be 3 of these. They'll dissipate, and then a new set of 3 will show up, and then it'll dissipate, and a new set of 3 will show up. The 3 puke piles. Now, this is the important part, and this is also the most difficult for the tank, for the healer, and for the person that I'm going to tell you that's involved. On the 4th attempt, he is not going to glow green, but he will do the same motion. I'm talking about just the snake, not the chimera itself, where he looks over the shoulder and then he spits straight up. However, he will put 3 of these down, like I said, and he will also highlight somebody with a green pillar. So, let me move him first. Actually, no, we'll do it like this. We'll make it real noticeable. Let's see what we can do here. We'll do a pen. Very green. There we go. Yeah, that's what we want. Maybe a little thicker, but it's fine. Okay, this guy got targeted by the snake. Which means the chimera, the lion, is going to face him or her or them. Doesn't matter. That's where this is at. That's why we have this. Let me go back to the crayon. That's why we have this. Why are we doing here? This is to indicate that the lion is facing this way at what he's targeting, which is this guy. What you want to do, you have about, I believe it's 2 to 4 seconds. And honestly, bet on 2, because the further you get away, the better. You want to go as far outward as possible. And I mean, if it lets you jump off the damn map, jump off the damn map. Okay, so we're gonna point this as blue. We want to go this way as far as possible, because he's gonna shoot 3 fireballs. Do we get that? 3 fireballs. 1, 2, 3. Not that fast. It's gonna be 1 fireball, 2 fireball, a 3 fireball. That's how many licks it takes to get the center of the fireball. Once this happens, the tank has a job here. Now, most tanks that I've seen that's really upsetting like to do this. They like to say, okay, I'm going to protect this guy. Let me go right in front of him. What happens is, and we're going to do a lot of erasing here in a second, what tends to happen during that phase is when he shoots 1 fireball at the tank here, the radius is going to be about there. Just for rough estimate. The splash damage is going to stack and do even more DOT damage to this guy. And this guy. So not only are you not protecting him, you're hitting him still, by the way, which is just kind of counterproductive. And you're also killing yourself. You're killing yourself. That's genuinely what's happening, because the tank is not going to be able to. I know you can block it. Sure, you might have 14k health. You're screwed, because this guy up here, he's going to need to heal both of you now. The healer is going to struggle. So the whole point of this raid is to keep this guy alive, so that everybody else can stay alive. What you're gonna want to do. Let me hit a couple of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. You're gonna want, as the tank, to try and get in the line of sight of the chimera's mouth and the person that's highlighted. So you want to get right here. You want to make sure you just cut off that path. It's also much easier when he regurgitates the fireball to block immediately. It's not gonna give you a block symbol, but it's much easier to block. After that, you'll take 3 damage. The healer's gonna have a grand time healing 1 person. You should have some DCDs, some heals as a tank as well. Again, I'm gonna go one more time. Do not go to the person who's getting targeted. Go to the chimera's line of sight on that person. It's okay if you're in the middle too. There's 2 decisions I want you to think about right now, and it's if this guy is too close when he's targeted, and this is going to be sad, but here's what the tank's going to do. Are you ready? Nothing. That's what's going to happen. This guy's dead. You let him go. Healer, don't heal him. He's just dead. He's stunned and he's dead. The 3 fireballs are going to hit him. You're going to yell. You're going to punch your monitor. He's dead. But let's go with how I taught it. Go to the chimera. After this is the next phase. This will probably happen 2 or 3 times depending on what your DPS is. So just keep that in mind. The next phase is pretty easy. Actually, it's super easy. There's no toxins. The snake doesn't matter right now. Basically, it's going to be a fire area stage. So this whole stadium is going to light on fire. And I have these 4 pillars here. They're labeled F because that's an interact for PC people. Because, I mean, if you're playing on a controller, I mean, come on. I'm just kidding. But The biggest importance here is as soon as he goes down, he's gonna jump to the middle of the stage where he is conveniently now. He will jump to the middle, and then he will look up and essentially let all the fire out, and it will kill you within, I would say, I've lasted 3 seconds in there, but it could be 5 or 6 if you're lucky. That's if everybody's alive. So all in all, this guy lived good. That's great. Fantastic. Now you have to worry about these things, the interactions. You want to, and it doesn't necessarily have to be at the same time, but it does have to be within a same time frame. You want to interact on all 4 of these, not one person. One person just has to interact on one. And there's no real strat to this. If you guys can communicate, you'll know, hey, that's an open pillar, go interact with it. What that's going to do is, and this is the fun part, this is what we prepared for. When that fire is going, water will pour on top of the chimera from above, and it will singe him. It will basically stun him and lock him in for 4 seconds. Now you can also communicate, because there are 6 people. You only need 4 pillars. There are 6 people. If you want your top DPS to get close to the lion, you better make sure you hit those pillars first, or those DPS are going to die. But if you want to get them close so they can do the most damage, by all means, please do, because that's how you'll get most of your damage. He's vulnerable. He has debuffs on him. You'll do more armor pen. You're going to do more damage. And then you rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. The only thing that this person, guess what? This person, and this guy. Don't forget this guy. All they have to remember is how many times did that snake spit. Because once it's after the 3, you have to prepare for this. And like I said, one more time, just one more time, if you're here and he wants to target you with this tank, don't get mad at the tank, don't get mad at the healer, this is your fault. Yeah, that's your fault. You're too close. You're dead. You don't live. And if you're here and also being targeted here, don't yell at anybody, because you just weren't opening your eyes and looking at the ground. Okay? It's okay. We all do it. Not really all of us. Actually, very few of us do it. But some people do it. And that's your explanation on Roaring Temple. The easy way, because it is. It's easy. It's not mechanically strong. There's a few mechanics, but, get over it.